Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal, and thank you so much for watching, tuning in. Before we go any further, as usual, if you haven't done so yet, please get down there in that corner and smash that like and subscribe button. If you would please, I would be beholding to you for doing that. Thank you. The fairy tale, Hollywood scripted storybook season for these Detroit Tigers continues. And just when you think you've seen it all, we saw it today. No, talk about that mainly, mix in a little Michigan State, Michigan and the Lions, but let's do this first. Ladies and gentlemen, the colder weather is closer than we want it to be, and that is factual. And the service department at Frank Beck Chevrolet says now is the time to make an appointment to make sure your vehicle is ready for the winter weather ahead. Let them check the strength of your battery, your belts and hoses, wiper blades, antifreeze, and more. Plus, pardon me, now is the perfect time to get those new tires so you don't go skipping and sliding down the highway. And if you don't think your car will make it through another rough Michigan winter, let the sales pros at Beck's help you find a vehicle for all seasons. The 2025s are rolling in nearly every day out of the lot, so let their selection is tops. Check out their inventory on their webpage at frankbeckchevy.com, or better yet, stop by the dealership on N99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville for a great selection. Let them help you experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Hang on just a second here. Starting pictures for today's matinee at Comerica Park were Reese Olson. Get in here, Miggy. You got to be part of this. Starting pictures for the matinee today at Comerica were Reese Olson for the Tigers and an old familiar face, Tyler Alexander, who hadn't been pitching very well at all this year, but he was shutting the Tigers out through 5 innings. He had a 3-0 lead. And I'm thinking, well, wouldn't it just be a scenario where, guy that hasn't been pitching very well, but he's a former Tiger, very familiar with his surroundings, and he comes in and shuts them down today. But Tigers found a way to get to their bullpen, which has been really a pretty respectable bullpen all year. Scored 2 in the 6th and 2 in the 8th, and our bullpen did a fairly good job. Casey Mize did give up an unearned run on a wild pitch. Other than that, they did a pretty good job, and the Tigers ended up coming from behind and winning the game 4-3. And voila, their magic number is down to 2. And a combination of twin losses and Tiger wins equaling 2. And the Tigers are indeed in the playoffs for the first time in 10 years, I believe, not since 2014. I got to thinking about this. It was the first weekend in August, and Jim Leyland had just gone into the Hall of Fame, and the Tigers were having a Jim Leyland day. They were playing Kansas City that weekend. I guess it was first weekend in August, and they retired his number on Saturday, and he had a little session with the press, took some questions. And he said to keep it, I don't know exactly what his duties are, but he's still on the payroll yet. I think he's some kind of an advanced minor league scout or something. And I thought he was just blowing smoke, as a lot of people, other people may have thought when he came out and said the future of this team looks bright. He thought they were headed in the right direction. And he talked mainly about next year. I don't even think Leyland expected this. What was going to happen after he said this? Someone else called me immediately after the game, too. And I'm not going to jinx them by getting into what their offseason priorities are going to be. Obviously, one is what to do with Javier Baez. I know Jack Flaherty will be a free agent. If I were Scott Harris, I'd look at least talk to his agent. He might want to come back here. This is where he resurrected his career here. I'm sure he loved it here. He's pitching well for the Dodgers. Good luck to him. In fact, I think he got the win last night. Dodgers, by the way, have a 3-game lead over the Padres with 4 games left. They have one more game to go in their series tonight. So it's almost a must win for the Padres if they have any shot of catching the Dodgers. If they win tonight, they'll be 2 back with 3 games left. Chances are slim, but they will be the top wild card team. Arguably, maybe the 2 best teams in all of baseball, the Dodgers and Padres right now. I think maybe, the Yankees might have a little something to say about that. But we'll get into these playoff brackets too momentarily, but as the way they look right now. But Tigers win today, so they're 80, 85, and 74 with 3 games left. Myself, I'd like to maybe see them go 2-1 the next 2 games. I'm in a pool right now. I predicted before the season started they'd go 87 and 75. And if they do that, I'm in for with a little chunk of change on that. But maybe I'm being a little selfish about that. But so as it stands right now, they've got a 2.5 game lead for that final wild card spot over the Twins. If the Twins lose at home tonight to the Marlins, the Tigers' magic number will be 1. And that means all they have to do is go out tomorrow night and beat Garrett Crochet and the White Sox, and they can pop the champagne and celebrate tomorrow night. So, on the other hand, if the Twins win tonight, the magic number is still 2. Twins play the Orioles at Target Field tomorrow night. Got to thinking about this too. Let's say the Tigers go out and win tomorrow night. Their game starts an hour before the Twins-Orioles game does. You go out and win tomorrow night, and your magic number is 1. And let's say the Twins are like in the 6th or 7th inning with the Orioles. The Orioles have a 3 or 4 run lead. I'd invite everybody to stick around and put the game up on the scoreboard in left field. And at the moment that the Twins lose that game, let everybody celebrate. That'd be a great scene. I'd love to see that. But maybe I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse on that one. But anyway, again, the Twins lose tonight. Tigers' magic number is 1. If they win, it's still 2, and they can still clinch tomorrow night. By the way, because of the remnants of Hurricane Helene, the weather does not look all that hot this weekend for Saturday or Sunday right now. They're tracking it. And that will affect the series this weekend in Atlanta between the Royals and the Braves. We'll get to all that here in just a second, try to iron this all out. Good word for a good man. Tim Lindley, Quality PC, downtown Hillsdale at 37 Waldron Street. Any computer tech needs at all, Tim's the guy you want to see. Tech service needs, sales and service. 37 Waldron Street, a couple hundred yards west of Howell. 517-610-5372, anything at all. Computers, new or used, flat screen TV, mounting, hookup, setup, programming, internet service, printers, new or used, anything at all. Get in there and see Tim Lindley, one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. 517-610-5372, or better still, get in there and see Tim at 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale. Tell him me and Mickey sent you. Will you please? Thank you. Playoff brackets, the way they look right now. And I'll explain. Obviously, this could change after tomorrow night. This could change. But right now, because the Royals haven't played yet. Uh, Tigers have a half game lead over them. So I've got them, if the playoffs ended right now, they would be going to Baltimore, right back to Baltimore to play the Orioles. And the Royals would go down to Houston. Now, I think the Tigers would have a decided advantage going to Baltimore. Why? Well, it's just a 90-minute flight compared to a 3-hour flight down to Houston. Look, the Tigers just took 4 out of 6 from the Orioles. They're very familiar with the surroundings there. They'd be staying in the same hotel, sleeping in the same bed, playing in the same ballpark they just played in last weekend. I think there'd be a decided advantage for the Tigers to go back to Baltimore. But again, this could change. Probably Hurricane Helene. The Royals are supposed to be playing the Braves tomorrow night in Atlanta. Looking at that, that's probably not going to happen. They might have to play a split doubleheader on Saturday or on Sunday. If they have to play it on Sunday, the Tigers will have to wait until Sunday night before whether or not they're going to either play in Houston or Baltimore. The winner, if the Tigers, again, theoretically, hypothetically, if the Tigers would go to Baltimore and win that series, then they would go to New York and play the Yankees in a best of 5. Royals, Houston, the winner of that series would go to Cleveland and play the Guardians. The more intriguing scenario was unfolding in the National League. Now, the Mets and the Braves and the Diamondbacks, you've got 3 teams vying for 2 wild card spots. Looks right now like the Padres are going to be the number 1 seed. Not the number 1 seed, but the number 1 wild card. That would be the 4th seed. You've got the division winners would be then the Phillies, Brewers, Dodgers, and right now that top wild card seed looks like it's going to go to San Diego. So now you've got the Mets and the Braves and the Diamondbacks fighting it out. That's going to go right to the last game of the season, more than likely go to the last game of the season. Like I said, you've got 3 teams vying for 2 wild card spots. And again, the weather, Hurricane Helene in Atlanta is going to have a relevant matter in all of this. It could be that they've got to play 3 games in Atlanta this weekend. They might even have to play on Monday. I don't know what. I've been tracking that hurricane last couple of days. That's even going to affect our weather up here this weekend. So, yeah. So anyway, the brackets right now as they stand. We don't know who would be going to Milwaukee yet for the first round. We don't know who would be going to San Diego yet for that first wild card round. But the winner of that series in Milwaukee, the winner of that series would be going on to Philadelphia to play the Phillies. The winner of the series in San Diego would then be going right back to LA to play the Dodgers if you're the Padres. No, that's about where that stands right now. I should have more. I should have a clearer picture of how this is going to fold out for you on Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, we'll make a quick shift here into college football. Michigan Wolverines, I told you earlier in the week, they went up 6 spots from 18 to 12 in the rankings. They are playing the Minnesota Golden Gophers at noon on Fox Saturday. Last I looked, they were 9.5-point favorites. I think the over/under for that game is like 35.5, I think. Michigan State Spartans were playing 7:30 Saturday night at Spartan Stadium against the Ohio State Buckeyes. And unless you have access, unless you have access to Peacock, you will not be able to see that game. That game will be exclusively not on NBC. It's on Peacock. And the last time I checked, the Spartans were favored by like 23 and a half points. So, uh, and again, the weather could be a factor, both in Ann Arbor and East Lansing on Saturday. Anyway, we will have some rain. We just don't know exactly how much one. It's going to be windy too. So, quickly shifting over to the Lions. That then who practiced today and who didn't practice. Who practiced today? Brian Branch practiced. Alex Anzalone practiced. The two guys that got concussed. That's a good sign. Ali McNeil and Ennis Rakestraw were back at practice today. Sam Laporte was working out on the side. The two guys who were out, definitely out Monday night, Frank Rangnow and Ife Melifonwu. As you know by now, Marcus Davenport is done for the year, and Derek Barnes, we may not see him until the second half of the season. Other news, too, the Lions did promote Allen Robinson up from the practice squad. So now you've got two big receivers currently on the Lions' current roster in Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson. Last time I looked, the Lions were like still 3.5 point favorites over the Seahawks on Monday night. Who would have thought when the schedule came out in May and you saw this September 30th Monday night game, Seahawks at the Lions, who would have thought that the Tigers would be stealing the Lions' thunder at this point in the season? And the Lions, Dan Campbell and the Lions are all behind the Tigers. I thought that was a great gesture. Jared Goff Sunday after the game in Arizona doing his post-game presser with a Tiger cap on. The Lions are 100% behind the Tigers. Don't think they're not. So nice to see. Quickly, I think we've got you caught up on everything. Just a reminder, too, timeout this Saturday with Andy and Jed here locally on WCSR 92.1 FM. Due to some commitments, we are taping the show tonight. So when we talk to you Saturday morning, we will not be on live. So obviously, we don't know tonight what's going to transpire between now and Saturday. Could be by the time they air that on Saturday morning, hopefully the Tigers will have already clinched a playoff spot. But we'll see. Just enjoy the ride, everybody. Until then. We'll talk to you again on Saturday afternoon sometime, probably immediately after the Michigan game, between the Michigan game, Michigan State game. So until Saturday, remember, folks, please treat each other with respect. Have a good rest of your evening, and so long.